There's something that frustrates me more than anything when it comes to YouTube, and that's other YouTubers saying, I don't know what to say. Look, in this video, I'm going to open up. Yes, if you watch this entire video, which I'm telling you on this one, you better stay till the end. I'm going to be diving into my tips on how I plan my videos. I'm not talking about scripts and call to actions. Literally the tricks. I moved to Portland, Oregon. I didn't know a damn soul. I'm not from here. I'm from a tiny ass little town, and I grew the biggest real estate YouTube channel on planet Earth, and it was all by these tricks I'm gonna be talking about today. So if you want to know how I truly plan, I've never talked about this with anybody, how I truly plan my videos out, well, we're getting after it right now. What's up, everybody? This is Jackson Wilkie with the YouTube Agents. I help people grow massive YouTube channels for their businesses, real estate professionals, to get incredible amounts of business. If you want to learn all those tips and tricks on growing YouTube channels, well, make sure you tap that subscribe button and you click the little bell so you're notified every time I do a new video. So yes, we're going to be going over, I got a list right here of 4 ways that I go about my videos. Now, I literally did not know anything about Portland. In fact, my business partner, Jesse, born and raised here, he knew every street, everything about this area, and he would laugh all the time because I didn't know why all the streets were named Northeast or Southeast. Well, it had to do with a dividing road and the river. I didn't know any of this. I didn't know any neighborhoods around here, nothing. But I'm gonna talk about, with step number 3 and 4, how I even blew him away with some of the information I was coming up with and how I found that. But this is literally an in-depth video of the secrets that I do to shoot incredible videos, to keep people on for as long as possible. So I'm gonna be looking at my script right here. You guys can do that too, because I'm giving you value. So hey, let's just roll. Number 1, and you gotta bear with me because this is how I start. You gotta do title research, but you don't need to be diving into like TubeBuddy and getting crazy and have this super long title that gets millions of searches. No, what I do, my trick, I'll be blatantly honest, I type in like living in Portland, Oregon. What you're gonna see first and foremost is basically all our videos, but as you're seeing, when I type living in Portland, Oregon into YouTube, you will catch a lot of other video titles like 10 reasons not to move to Portland, the pros and cons of living in Portland by other YouTubers, and they have 40,000 views, 220,000 views. These are people that have millions of subscribers, and those are the videos that I'm going to do, right? So I'm not gonna go and do Portland, Oregon real estate market. As you're seeing right now, when you type that in, the Google or the YouTube search is going to show that all those videos have 1 view, 10 views, 100 views, whatever. There's no views. So my title research is going to be, hey, just go into the YouTube bar, seeing which videos are getting hundreds, if not millions of views, or hundreds of thousands of views, and I'm going to do that video too. So that's an incredible way that you can find videos right now that you can go duplicate. They obviously get a lot of views, but what I'm going to do next and what I do next is a Google search. Why am I gonna go to Google? Because in the past, in the past 10, 15 years, what are there out there? There's billions and billions of blogs. It's the most competitive thing on planet Earth because people have been blogging since the internet came out. So yes, there's not a lot of videos on this kind of stuff, and that's what I figured out. But when I go to Google, only the best blogs are ranking page 1, page 2. So I go to Google, and what I'm doing is now it's Portland, Oregon is the keywords, or living in Portland, Oregon is the keywords. How are they constructing titles that are gonna get clicked? How are those blogs keeping people on there? How are they, people reading throughout the entire blog? That's a huge secret. That's how I found out so much information and how to truly construct a video, because these bloggers have to keep people on their page as long as possible. So you can go to your city, type that into Google. So when I type in living in Portland, Oregon into Google, as you're seeing right now, you're gonna see like 47 things you need to know about Portland, Oregon, or the 47 most honest things about living in Portland, Oregon, right? So these bloggers, they figured out how to write these titles that grab your attention. And then I read those blogs. I read them from freaking top to bottom, and I hate reading, but it gives me such valuable information, and all I'm doing is while I'm reading that, it's just giving me ideas, and I'm just jotting these down, and they're very, very good in depth. These blog writers are very talented people, so that's a huge tip. Go to Google, see how the bloggers are doing it. as you can see, I'm giving these tips out. This is how I was able to grow these massive channels, especially the one in Seattle, Washington. Never even stepped foot there. And I was able to build a massive YouTube channel there too, all by reading people's blogs and doing what we're gonna be talking about next, which are my favorite tips. But right now, guys, I need you to smash that like button right now. It's a huge help for me. And if you're loving these videos, hey, that's the least you could do for me. So make sure right now, I'll give you 2 seconds to smash the like button, and also comment down below what you're doing to prepare yourself for videos. All right, so number 3. Now this is when I would blow, Jesse Dow, my business partner's socks off right here, because we would go vlog a community, and a section of Portland, and I would start hitting these, kind of historic events, and they're incredible information. So what I do is, with the number 3 tip, I go to the wiki page. So we're gonna talk about Hawthorne Boulevard. That's probably one of the most notorious streets in the Portland metro. It's the funkiest, nothing but independent shops, restaurants, bars, and it just dissects Southeast Portland. So Southeast Portland is one of the coolest areas in the entire nation, top foodie city in the entire nation. So it's happening. We did a lot of vlogs there. So what do? I type in Hawthorne neighborhood, Hawthorne Boulevard, and I find the Wikipedia page. And this is what I say in the videos as Jesse's talking about the shops, the type of living, and I'm walking the streets and I'm like, hey, this street, let me tell you the history of this. Back in the early 1800s, mid 1800s, this was actually called Asylum Avenue. The very first mental hospital in Oregon was right here on this street. So you're talking hundreds of years of history right here. Now, in the late 1800s, it was actually changed to Hawthorne Street, because J.C. Hawthorne, he's the one who brought that hospital, the mental hospital, to the southeast, to Hawthorne, and so they named it after him. Incredible story. That mental hospital, the hospital actually moved down to Salem. It's not here anymore. And then in 1933, they actually went to Hawthorne Boulevard, naming it after J.C. Hawthorne. So that's how it got its name, and it's kept that raw authenticity. In fact, there was a McDonald's that was trying to get in here, and they voted it out. So there is no chain restaurants here. It is 100% authentic, independent shops, restaurants, bars, and that's what you see. That's why people love it here. Now, also, the shops are from 12th Avenue to 60th Avenue, and that is going to get you right up into Mount Tabor. So as you head east, 12th is towards the river, 60th is out to the east. You're heading east, and it starts going up to one of the most incredible viewpoints, Mount Tabor. You'll have views of downtown Portland. You're right on Hawthorne Boulevard, so if you want the hiking trails, you want the beauty of the Northwest, the giant trees, the mountains, and you want to be close to all that, Mount Tabor's right there. So that was all information I got from the Wikipedia page. And Jesse's like, I had no idea, there was a mental hospital here or something. So even you, if you've been in an area for 20, 30, 40 years, you take for granted, you just kind of know it. But if you can kind of dive into the history, you probably were listening to that like, dang, that's kind of cool story, right? That's why our people love our videos, because we just really keep them interested. We watch documentaries all the time, so that's something that's very big. Get to that Wikipedia page and kind of learn the history of these areas, and it'll really help your videos out. So after I've done all that research, one thing that I love doing with tip number 4 is I'm gonna write down 2 or 3 stories. Storytelling is the biggest thing about YouTube. So my story a lot of times in Portland is, hey, I just moved here. So I'm able to really talk about the pain points. But if you do live here, now I've lived here for 3 years, I don't really talk about that as much anymore. But now what I like to do is, hey, we helped a client. They got into this neighborhood. The reason they moved here was because they were actually looking up north in the Alameda neighborhood, but there wasn't as many shops and bars, and the streets were a little bit more narrow. They got kids, and so that's why they came down to the Irvington area and bought a house, because the streets are super wide. The yards are actually a little bit bigger. It puts you closer to the Lloyd district, so more shops, restaurants, bars, and there's Irving Park right in the center. So for families, for kiddos, you're probably going to want to lean a little bit more towards the Irvington, just like our past clients. So that's a story that's going to resonate both for the pro and the con. So people who are single are like, nah, I kind of want that, smaller street and be closer to stuff. I'm going to think Lloyd District, or I'm going to think, the Alberta Arts, but hey, oh shoot, that's me. I want more space. I have kids. That Irvington area sounds amazing. Regardless, because I'm giving that story, giving that information, they think, they trust me, and they know that I know these areas, so I'll help them find the perfect spot. The other thing we talk about, hey, is yourself. So 2 to 3 stories, it can be, you know, the reason I wouldn't live over here, you know, I love going to the northeast side, southeast side of Portland, but you know, it's gonna be way tighter lots. The other thing you need to know about it, hey, Hawthorne Boulevard was built back in the 1860s, you know, like we were just talking about. So these are old neighborhoods. Some of these houses are 100 years old. Sometimes the inspections can be a nightmare, old wiring. So if the house hasn't been redone, you may have a lot on your hands. So you may have to go in and renovate. Hey, but the good news for me, you know, the reason I would go there is because I can renovate. I've gutted 3 houses myself, so I see a lot of potential. The southeast and northeast areas of Portland, hey, you can have a house sitting right here that's $300,000 and right next door is $1 million because of the complete remodel. So it's not going to go, you know, like the suburbs on the west side of Portland where you have neighborhoods and the prices are going to be pretty similar no matter how much, you know, renovations you do. So those would be the pros and cons. But if you like to be able to walk to all the independent shops, restaurants, bars, that's why I would be on the southeast. I like, you know, 2 sidewalks. We have parks everywhere and big shopping centers with movies, theaters, and all that stuff. That's what I see on the west side. Incredible schools. So, you know, if either one of those areas isn't your jam, that's what I'm here to do. I know every street, back road. I know all these cities to help you find your perfect lifestyle. So that's how I close it. That's how I word it. The only way, you know, you got to get a hold of us, give us a call. So I don't tell them thanks for watching the video or nothing like that. But those are the 4 tips that I'm using. As you can tell, I get pretty, you know, emotional. I talk about this stuff. Like, that's how I was able to build massive YouTube channels, not knowing anything about these areas. So you may have lived in your area your whole life. You need to just start reading these blogs. You need to start looking at the wiki pages and start telling some freaking stories, people. Now, hey, right now you're seeing a bunch of other videos pop up on how you can grow your YouTube channel. Start clicking on those. Once you do, you will be well on your way. And until the next video, guys, we'll catch you later.